A little life update. Where have I been? Well, I look different. I know. Yeah. I went through something truly life changing and body changing. I didn't know if I would recover from it all, or even if I want to recover from it all, because it has been the most fulfilling journey of my life. I feel so blessed and grateful to God for giving me such a beautiful gift. I became a mom. Last year, 2025, God blessed me and my family with a beautiful baby girl. And it has been the most stressful journey, but very fulfilling, like I said. And a lot has changed about me, as you can see physically. um, I feel like I'm a new creature. I'm born again because, when you give birth, when a woman gives birth, she becomes a mom. She was never a mom prior to that time. So you can refer to me, feel free to refer to me as a born again, as a new mom. The journey has been beautiful. But like I said, stressful, a lot stressful. I used to think that I was busy before being a mom. Now I know what busy is. So when your mom friend tells you they're busy, they're truly busy. They're not capping anything. They're not trying to, wade you off or not wanting to see you. They are really busy. As it is now, my baby is currently sleeping, and I'm praying and hoping that she doesn't wake up, even though I know my husband is going to take care of it. But, I don't want to be unsettled by a cry. So I'm just making this video to give like a life update, or where have you been kind of video, what's happening in your life, and also to reach out to my, community, you guys, and also to thank you for some people who have been, asking me, when are you going to start your YouTube back? I intend to continue this, bringing more conversations and talking about real life issues, but I'm not promising anything. I hope, fingers crossed, by the mercies of God, that I will be able to keep the flow going. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about three things, or there's going to be like three segments to this life update, or to this where have you been kind of video. And the first one is going to talk about my experience being pregnant and also being a new mom. And the second one is something that is also dear to my heart, which I'll mention. I don't want you to run away before that part. And the last part is a real life story that I would love you, my community, my subscribers, to comment and give an advice to this mom. So, my new mom experience. But before I talk about being a new mom, I went through pregnancy, and my pregnancy was not really, it wasn't, I would say it was uneventful. I say this with caution because no woman truly goes through pregnancy without any symptom. And for me, I had this metallic taste in my mouth that wouldn't go away for the whole of first trimester. And I was very nauseous, bloating. I had bloating. Oh God. I used to think that I know what bloating means. But the first trimester, I think throughout the pregnancy, I had another understanding of what bloating is. Bloating in pregnancy is another ball game entirely. It is so different from when you used to say bloating outside of pregnancy. I was constipated. I was really constipated. But the most significant symptom for me would be that metallic taste, where I just didn't understand what was happening in my mouth, various things. And like I said back then to some of my friends, when I wake up in the morning, my taste bud will tell me what I want to eat, because today it might be lemon and ginger, and in the afternoon it might be pounded yam and something else. But I remember that one of the food that I ate most in my first trimester was my husband's fried yam and fried egg, specifically his fried egg, because I make fried eggs differently and he does it differently. But throughout that first trimester, it was his fried yam and fried egg that I just wanted to eat. I don't know if that was a craving, um, but I know that was something that I ate regularly in my first trimester. And when people say you humble pregnancy, I think that people have, you know, I will not say misuse, but when people say humble pregnancy, they use it in a way to compliment somebody whose skin is glowing, whose nose is not big, for instance. But I would like to say that your body just becomes everything your baby needs your body to become. I've read of people who have lost their sight when they were pregnant, some people who had gone through serious pelvic pain throughout their pregnancy, and people who had hyperemesis gravidarum, which means excessive vomiting during their pregnancy. So I like to think that everybody humbles pregnancy if you are able to manage through that symptom to delivery. You have humbled pregnancy, whether your face was smooth all through, or your body was banging all through or not, or what other things do people consider, or you have a small baby bump or a large baby bump. It doesn't really matter. Everybody, if you're pregnant or you've been through pregnancy, you have humbled pregnancy. So when next you use that term, do not say it just to people whose skin were glowing or are glowing through their pregnancy, or who they didn't add much weight during their pregnancy. Say it also to people who have significantly changed during their pregnancy, who don't look like what they used to look like before pregnancy, because everybody becomes another version of themselves that the baby needs. So if you're currently pregnant and you look at yourself and you don't really recognize who you are now, I want you to say it like this: I am being humbled by the pregnancy, but I am becoming the version that my baby needs. Nobody can carry your baby for you, I mean, if you're pregnant. So that's why you cannot compare yourself to another person. You're exactly what your baby wants you to be. So that's the first thing I really wanted to say about that. I had one what do we call it? I've forgotten what it was, but there's like a pain between your buttocks. I can't quite remember what the name is. I'll put it in the caption just when I remember. I had that for first and second trimester, even third trimester, and it was really painful. I couldn't sit properly, or when I sat, I would always feel that pain, from my buttocks, my pelvic area down to my legs. Going into being a new mom, no matter how much you have read or how much you think you are prepared for that stage of your life, reality is so different. When I came back from the hospital, the first day after I gave birth, I was in the hospital. So I was on the bed, the hospital bed. It was adjustable, so when I want to feed, I'll just adjust it. I'll sit uprightly. When I'm done, I'll put the bed back. So I was like, oh, this is a piece of work. It's not that hard. But then when I got home, I didn't have a bed that I could adjust. So it was just normal flat bed. So then I had to use a lot of pillows, just getting into a comfortable position to breastfeed the baby. But the first 6 weeks postpartum is one of the, how will I say it? The peak is the I'm trying to look for an English word that will adequately define the first 6 weeks. The first 6 weeks is a lot, because what happens is, after delivery, after you've given birth to your baby, estrogen and progesterone that used to support the baby crashes down within the first 24 hours after birth, and then your body is thrown into like a panic mode. Not like it's panicking, because it has been preparing for that very day, but then because of the sudden crash of these two hormones, so many things happen. So there's emotional roller coaster. For me, for the first 3 weeks, I was paranoid. I'll explain what I mean. It's like, I just wanted my baby to be with me. I just felt like nobody could care for my baby more than myself. I was just very attached to my baby. I couldn't even sleep if my baby wasn't close by. Even though I had help, my mother-in-law was around. It was just like I was being suspicious of everybody. Even my husband was like, just give me the baby. I know what the baby needs and all of that, blah blah blah. You don't know what the baby needs. I know what I know what the baby needs. So I was paranoid. I just wanted the baby to be close to me. And I had this emotional roller coaster. At 1 minute, I was grateful. I was thankful to God for the beautiful gift that God had given to me. And the next moment, I was crying. I was all over the place. I once sat my husband down to say, do you understand how I feel? It's not like I don't want you to help, but this is how I feel, all of this. Thankfully, he understood, or maybe he didn't, but I was able to have that conversation with him. There are three major hormones that then kicks in after those two previous hormones decline massively, and they are the oxytocin. Oxytocin really starts from around childbirth. It helps to soften the cervix, and also for contraction. So what happens is, when after you give birth, oxytocin creates the maternal bonding. So when I said that I became very, I just wanted my baby to be close to me, that is what oxytocin does. It helps you to want to bond with your baby. It kicks in your maternal instinct as well, like, this is my baby. I need to focus on my baby. That's all that matters at this moment. This is my baby. So that's the first one. And it also helps to contract the uterus so that it goes back to its former size. Then another hormone that kicks in after childbirth is the prolactin. And prolactin is the breast milk hormone. It helps in the production of breast milk, and it also helps to kick in the maternal instinct. You might relate with this if you're a mom or a new mom. My baby is still sleeping, and then I wake up like 15 minutes before she wakes up. That is the maternal instinct. It tells you that, oh, your baby's about to wake up. You just wake up, there's no alarm. It's just like an internal alarm inside of you telling you, oh, your baby's about to wake up. Oh, your baby's crying. When you are far away from the baby, you kind of know when the baby's crying. It's like everything else fades away, and then you can hear your baby crying from afar. So that's the work of prolactin. And another hormone that skyrockets during this first 6 months, first 6 weeks rather, is the stress hormone, which is the cortisol. Cortisol hormone will continue to be released in the first 6 weeks. Is the stress hormone. Your body is stressed, overly stressed, because you just gave birth. It's trying to kick in the breast milk. It's trying to recover from what is happening, emotional roller coaster, and if you're not in an environment that makes you calm, your stress hormone will just keep going higher and higher, which can also inhibit breast milk production. So that was my first 6 weeks experience, emotional roller coaster. I just wanted my baby to be close. I just felt like nobody could do anything better than myself. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the concept women supporting women. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I have something bad to say. No, I don't. What I have to say is it is only a woman that can support a woman adequately, especially after birth. Being a new mom, I understood, or I now understand, what the word women supporting women. After giving birth, my friends were all over me. I mean, by the time I was, in fact, let me start from when my water broke. So when my water broke, I was at home. Some of my friends have come to visit me after church, and they just came to check up on me because it was my EDD the following day. So they were like, "Oh, are you okay? Just come to check up on me." So I came out to see them. I was sleeping earlier. I came out to see them. As I sat down, I think it was maybe 15 minutes after my water broke, gushing out. My friends, they followed me to the hospital. And after seeing that, I was already going into the hospital, they then went back because they couldn't come into the labor ward. Then my best friend was not in town, was not in town. So I called her, and then she came to the hospital to stay with me because you're allowed to birth partners. The help that these women offered, the help, the support that they gave me. My best friend, she was there when I was in labor. And can you believe that we were actually dancing? We were dancing. She started playing some songs, and we were dancing to the song. I called my younger sister on the phone. And she was on the phone, and then me and my best friend, who happened to have given birth like 5 months prior to that time, and we were dancing. She was just trying to encourage me, like everything was going to be okay, all of that. Then my other friends as well, they were calling me on the phone, checking up on me to see how everything was going. And then by the morning after I'd given birth, I already had pap waiting for me. My friend brought pap for me. They brought fruits, they brought food. They even called my mother-in-law, who was, at home, because she couldn't come to the hospital. We didn't want her coming to the hospital. So they called her to make sure that she was okay. I think they even brought food for her. I can't quite remember. All the support that they gave me, it was just phenomenal. I think about it, and sometimes I feel emotional because they just understood what I needed at that time without even saying anything. They were there. I didn't even have to ask them for anything. They were there. There was food for me the first day. There was food for me the second day. I got discharged the second day. And then by the time I got home, they were waiting for me. I mean, that was one of my friend and her husband. They were waiting for me with food, to make sure that even as I'm entering the house, I have food to eat, you know, just to make me comfortable. Apart from that, there is this beautiful woman in my church. She came, I think, the second day after I gave birth, and she brought amala, ewedu, soup, fresh fish. It was all that I needed. I tell you, it was all that I needed at that time. I mean, my mother-in-law cooked. Of course, she was very helpful, always helpful throughout all the time that she was here. But she's not Yoruba. So she doesn't know amala, she doesn't know ewedu, she doesn't know omiobe, jatutu. So this woman particularly, she brought that food, and it was not like all the other food I wasn't eating. But you see that amala and ewedu, ah, If you're Yoruba, you understand what it does to your soul. So that's gesture, it touched me. It made me really happy. And then I was receiving calls from other women. We had like a cohort of pregnant women in our church, and they were just checking up on me. How are you doing? What do you need? The women leader, I think she sent me money to get food for myself. People were just, women were, they were present, and some few men. But what I want to say is that only a woman can support a woman thoroughly. I say it as well because my mother-in-law understood everything that I was passing through. She would anticipate what I needed. She would anticipate how I felt, and she was really just very supportive. And I remember that there was a clip of a man that was saying that, oh, when he gave birth, when they gave birth, that nobody really checked up on him, and everybody was just asking about his wife. How is she? How is he? I quite understand some people's comments about that. I believe that it is a man that can truly support a man. A woman is meant to support a woman. And if you ask that man, you will see that most of those that were asking him, how is your wife, how is she doing, how's the baby, they were women, because they had gone through some of the things that they've gone through, that experience before. They've gone through that journey before, and they understand the support that that woman needs at that time. So a man should support a man. I mean, I will support my husband, but I believe that his biology, the way he thinks and everything, is best known to another man. And if men want encouragement, they should also come together and form like a group or something. But it's always women will always take care of women will always take care of women, because that's just how it is. And I was speaking to my husband about this, and I was saying that, why is it that there are no men's group, single men's group, for instance? Because in our church we have single women's group where single women talk about expectations and everything. And most of the time when we have baby shower, bridal shower, we have older women would come to talk to us about, oh, this is what to expect, this is how you should behave and everything. And I asked my husband, I'm like, do you guys have that kind of fellowship? Do you guys have that kind of do you guys talk about those things? Because the only thing they talk about is money. Is the only money? Is more, is there not life apart from money? You guys should get a room. You guys should form your own group, talk to each other, encourage each other, and leave us women alone. Women will always advocate for themselves. So yeah, thumbs ups to all the women in my life, my friends, my sisters. Oh, phenomenal. My family members, church colleagues, and everybody. In the first 6 weeks postpartum, there's so many things that are just hitting you all at the same time. You're breastfeeding, you're pumping, there's sleep deprivation, you're all over the place. You're thinking about baby. Is baby getting enough food? Is baby growing? You're also thinking about the first immunization that your baby is going to have, and everything. So the first 6 weeks, I keep saying 6 months, the first 6 weeks is very important that mothers get support. If you can support a new mom in the first 6 weeks, even beyond that, it will be really lovely. And for my moms, my friends that are doing this alone without help, I had my mother-in-law to help me. If you're doing this without help, you guys are the real you are the real deal. You guys are the real MVPs. You are doing an amazing job. This is an encouragement for you that you are doing absolutely amazing. And that it doesn't feel like that, because even I had support, I still felt like I wasn't doing enough. I felt like my whole I was just all over the place. You think that in my head, when I was preparing for childbirth and postpartum, in my head I was thinking, I used to do night shift. How bad can it be? Let me laugh again. It is different, totally different. You have a child to constantly feed, you know, um, so, from when they're still very young, very small, the first week, second week, third week, the first 6 months, you're feeding them like every 2 hours or every 3 hours to make sure they're getting enough nutrient for them to grow, to develop. You are changing diapers. They're pooing like 4 times, 6 times a day, and you're changing diaper every time. You are also trying to bop them. You're trying to bop. You see, this bopping is an act and an act, because you have to know what to do. You have to know how to position the baby. You have to know how to make sure that the baby doesn't get hiccup after bopping. Man, it's just is out of this world. So sleep deprivation, 10 out of 10. You're going to be deprived. At one time I took my baby for BCG immunization. I was very tired. My husband was at work. He had resumed back, and my mother-in-law was at home. I told her not to worry, that I'll just quickly go and come back. I was so tired. I was so tired that the nurse that was giving the immunization asked me, how are you getting home? Are you sure you're not going to sleep off in the bus, with the baby? I took the bus while going to the immunization center. I was thinking I would take the bus while going back. I just made, after the whole immunization, after waiting and waiting, and after the whole immunization, I just concluded in my head, I cannot take the bus. I'm going to sleep off, and I'm not going to look after my baby. I'm going to, the bus is going to go past my bus stop, and everything is just going to not go well. I just booked Uber, and then I was on my way to my house. So sleep deprivation, 10 over 10. Breastfeeding for me, thankfully, wasn't a problem. And I say this with care and caution, because um people's breastfeeding journey differ a lot. My breastfeeding journey was nothing, it wasn't significant like that, because my baby latched immediately. I started producing milk before, I think I was 37 weeks when I started seeing colostrum come out. So it wasn't hard at all. My baby latched on. I had breastfeed. I had breast milk for the first day, and it just kept on increasing like that. So I didn't really have any problem with breastfeeding. But where I had problem with breastfeeding was sitting down, positioning myself very well. With all of the extra pillows, I was still not comfortable, putting my baby. But over time, I now understood how to position myself, how to use the breastfeeding pillow, which I don't think was helpful. I don't think that breastfeeding pillow was helpful, because I had extra pillows, right, left. I had pillows at my back. I had breastfeeding pillows. So if you're pregnant and you're thinking of what to buy, extra pillows, you are going to need extra pillows, a lot of pillows. So breastfeeding was not that bad for me. And then body image, obviously I've added a lot of weight, and even now, even uh, you know I feel like I am still adding weight when I should be losing weight. I'm exclusively breastfeeding my baby. And some people say that when you exclusively breastfeed, you lose some weight. Some people say that you add weight. For me, I'm adding weight while exclusively breastfeeding. I know that I will get better, so I try not to worry myself about, oh, how do I don't look like myself before. I don't look like how I used to be pre-pregnancy. I don't, my face got darker, my neck got darker, and everything. So I'm trying not to worry about that. I am taking each day as it comes. I'm being thankful for the gifts that I have. I know that the extra weights are going to fall off, and I'm also going to put in the work actually. So if you're at that stage where you're like, oh, my body, I look so different, if you added weight significantly, um I just want to encourage you that give grace to yourself. Give grace to yourself. Give more grace to yourself. With time, you shed off some weight, and you begin to feel like yourself again. One of the things that have helped me in this postpartum journey that I have, is having friends that are in similar seasons with me. So like I said, my best friend had a child 5 months prior to mine. So we go out a lot. We take walks. I take walks individually. I also take walks with my friends. We go to baby groups, and with that baby groups, you're able to talk to other mothers. You're able to read a book to your baby, even though my baby sleeps almost all the time at the baby group. But I'm still grateful for the opportunity to be able to go out and see other people. So if you're a new mom and you're thinking of where to go, what to do, and you're feeling bored, you're overwhelmed with the emotions and all the roller coaster of this new life, please take walks. Take your pram and walk with your baby. Or if you don't use pram, if you're not used to pram, you don't have pram, take a walk, leave baby with somebody, make the food available, take some walks, and then come back, and it will get better. It will indeed get better. And the last segment of this life updates, where have I been video, is a real life story that I would like to read from my phone so that you can understand the context and everything. So I will want you, my viewers, my community members, to comment below, give your suggestions and advice, and that mom will be in the comment section to read your advice, and hopefully it will be helpful for her. She's a first time mom, and she says, even while writing, I'm in tears. I have just given birth and I'm living with my husband's extended family. She's feeling overwhelmed by constant criticism about how she held the baby. She's continually pressured to stop breastfeeding because the elders believed formula fed babies grow faster. She's exhausted from household duties while recovering physically. So, our question is this: how do I respect my elders but still protect my child and my health? What should she do? So she's living in a family house. She's constantly being told not to hold her baby. She's constantly being told, you need to switch to formula because this breastfeeding is not adequate for the baby. And then she's exhausted from doing household chores. I believe she's the youngest wife in the house rather. So what is your advice for her? She is overwhelmed, and she wants your advice on this. I have come to the end of this life updates video, but there is more to come. I'm just quickly going to tell you. So there is more to come, and I just quickly want to tell you what to expect from this podcast moving forward. So we're going to have a series of new moms coming to talk to us about how their breastfeeding journey is going, what they expected and what they did not expect, what traditional myth they are trying to conquer one day at a time. They are also going to come tell us about transitioning into work after maternity leave. So I have all of these speakers lined up, and we are going to have great conversations. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe, share this video so that you can get your friends to watch this video and also anticipate the next video. Also comment if you like this content, or if you have something to say, if you have a question, if there's something you want me to talk about, please let me know. Again, this is the Identity Podcast. This podcast aims to help us understand that identity is at the core of everything in life. If you don't get your identity right, you don't get anything right. So I'll see you in my next video. Take care.